and see what happens in life. But this song, they're saying, encompasses the emotion of how someone feels when they see that one from the Garden of Eden, their person from the Garden of Eden. They're telling me it's not just Adam and Eve that was in the Garden of Eden. When your souls are born to be with each other, you are born within a Garden of Eden, a garden of flowers, a garden of learning and growth. So hold everything here. Garden of Eden. Garden of Eden. Let me ask Spirit a question real quick. So Spirit, can I get on a different page? Yeah, because I can't tactilely. So Spirit, are souls themselves born into little gardens of Eden with their soul person that they're supposed to be with? And then they grow together and they learn and they're birthed out into the universe as two souls that fly together and will rebirth to learn what souls need to learn. Wow. That is something. Interesting. Ooh. Oh, now it's gone. Oh, that's gone now. That was not the spirit we were talking to about the selfish song. That was the divine universe. The big DU. Or as I like to call him, Greg Universe. Universe isn't too thrilled with that one, but I keep going with it. Universe says it's better to go with calling them Greg Universe than calling my father's mother Little Grandma in Mexican. And if you have a little Mexican grandmother and they don't like to be called little, then you know what I'm talking about. And if you have a short grandmother who doesn't like to be told they're short, even though they're short, and they're shorter than you and you're short, you know what I'm talking about. They go for that extra half an inch. Listen, I am 4.5. I am 5.5. No, it's my grandmother used to say to me, I am 5'4.5". That half an inch matters. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So okay, let's go back. Okay, that was a question answered. Thank you, Spirit. They show me like the earth they show me like a tiny earth as a seed. They put a seed in there, and there's like we have like a little terrarium. That's really beautiful, actually. That is really beautiful. They show it to me like a garden house for some, a greenhouse, and they show me the rose. I love this stuff. I've been drawing now, nonstop, just because Spirit has me. They show me this, and they show me like the plant beds. Okay, and then you've got like the stuff underneath here that you need for your plants. And it would basically be like the same thing over here. Excuse my dyslexia, as I can't draw the same on the right side as the left side. I often have to like turn it upside down. And then they show me how there are like these like little like things like these little like almost like these like little terrariums. And they've got these big like domes. They're domes. They're like big huge domes. And each dome sits next to the other one. And inside each dome is a little soul. Two little souls growing together. And again over here, we have the big, huge dome and two souls growing together. And the big, huge dome and two souls growing together in these little gardens of Eden. And they say, when they're ready, they are birthed out into the universe. Now, they show me this because this is the best way I can quantify it with our knowledge to show you what they do. Up there, it's going to look, listen, it's kind of like when you only know one language and you're dropped in the middle of some place where you don't know the language, so somebody has to try to kind of describe stuff to you. So you start using common things like, this is a fork, fork, and you learn how to learn the language that way. This is like them showing me a fork. So they're showing me that it looks like a garden house or a greenhouse, and in the greenhouse, rather than having rows of plants growing, you have domes. And each dome has two souls in it that where seeds were planted in a little garden, and these souls will grow. Excuse me. Wow, yeah. Wow, and talk and grow and learn and grow together. And they tell me no seed is planted wrongly. No seed is planted wrongly. So no Adam and Eve are put together, or, you know, Adam and Eve, Eve and Sophia, you know, Adam and Steve, whomever. It doesn't matter because these souls are sexless. There's no sex to these souls. They're unisex. There's no male, female, non-binary. There's nothing. They're just two souls. They're just two souls. They're just the same. They're just two little glowing orbs. No identity to them. Just orbs. And they show me that's how souls grow. And we may look at them and see them as nebulas, they say. When the gardeners who take care of them, the caregivers, look down on these souls, they look like nebulas to them. They look like nebulas to them. That is how out of their psychic realm it is for them. They're just the gardeners of this. Okay, so I am the clairvoyant bringing across the spirit to you, or the information to you. These are the caregivers taking care of the souls. Okay, I see some of these caregivers as people who plant the seeds in these domes. I also see some of them being just people that caretake it and go, I don't understand any of this. It just looks like a nebula to me. Like, it just looks like a nebula inside of there. A God creation, a God creation. But this is on a very, very far side of the universal veil that I'm being allowed to see and show you and tell you. And here we were to talk about Justin Timberlake's Selfish. But this has a lot to do with that, because this is about a soul contract. This is about soul union. This is about lifetimes. This is about souls who will always come back. Now, this is a soul marriage. This is when these souls get to a certain point in these domes, they will be given birth to by the universe, and then at that point they will go to the area where review is done, where they can start to prepare and do their planning, to be born, to learn and experience life so that they can go over to the other side and be whatever it is that they need to be there. This is that birth. Wow. Birth of souls. And they're like, this is a mystery to us. This the caretakers are like, yeah, this is like a mystery to even us. Like, this is the kind of thing where only the divine gets it. Like there are moments where the divine is the one. They show me that it's only the divine planting the seeds in here, and sometimes the divine will work through some of the gardeners that take care of some of the caretakers in here. The divine will use their finger to plant the seed. I see purple, like a purple nebula. Everything's a starseed. And it's important to understand this, they say, because because you've got to understand these souls being created are genderless. There's no gender here. There's literally nothing. It's just these two souls. This was planted, and these are the souls that will be together. Not because the divine says so, but because the soul chooses itself. I can plant the seed in the ground, but the souls will choose themselves. You know, I'm asking this in very like human terms of like arranged marriages. Is this, and he's like, no, this is just, this seed is here, this seed is here, they're covered with the soil, they're watered, they're grown, they're taken care of, and this is just what is supposed to be. It is just what it is. You just accept it. If you start finding enough change on the floor, what do? You just accept the fact that you're going to find change on the floor, and you pick up the change and you put it in the change jar, and that's what you do with it, and that's what this is. It just is. These are divine souls that won't ever want to be asunder from each other and can't be, because they're always going to be together. And that is what we're moving into an age of. And an articulation of, they need that to be more articulated, if that makes sense. The divine says that when you meet this person here, I know I look like I'm paying attention to my crocheting, but actually this is just completely doing this inside out, which is not going to help me. It probably really doesn't matter that much. There's this knowing and this warm glow. Sometimes we'll meet someone we'll have a soul contract for whatever reason. You know, because basically what goes on the other side too is, you know, you make friends. And sometimes as friends, you look at your soul partner, your soul spouse on the other side, and you go, your soul partner, and you go, yeah, I'm going to go over here with Fritz McGee. We're going to go be reborn, have this adventure, get married, have kids, yada, yada. You okay with that? And they're like, yeah, great, fine. Go have fun, because I'm going to go over here and do this. Because yes, you are soul divine counterparts. Yes, you were grown in this seed together. You were grown together here. But you have your own individual learning to do. You know, in any good relationship, if you don't have friends outside of this, if you're not growing outside of your relationship and you're just stuck up each other's asses all the time, there's no growth. Now, if you're in a situation where, you know, you live someplace where, you know, people around here are kind of iffy and we're just kind of sticking to our own and whatever, okay, there are other situations where this happens. But that's not what we're talking about, because you know those situations are what they are. So like your soul, your divine counterpart, they got to go off and learn their lessons too. So they're going to go to whatever veil it is that they need to go to, just like you are, to learn the lesson. And sometimes we get reborn with friends, and we, you know, have children with them, and we go on our life, and we get to the other side, and we go through review, and we see our counterpart who's there, and we, you know, we learn and we grow, and you know, we don't always live together, but at the end of the day, we come back to each other at some point when we've grown, because we always grow, because what they're telling me is, if you're crossing over, you're growing. Okay? If you get left in negative space, it's because your soul needs to clean itself up, and it needs to whatever. It doesn't mean you're going to get reborn. It just means you're going into a different part of review. That is aside from narcissism, anger, that sort of thing. Part of being a soul is sometimes going through that and learning how to clean that up. It just depends on the degree that your soul needs to learn that. I'm not saying everybody goes through an authoritarian dictator stage, because not everybody needs to. Not personally, but what they show me is that that's something different. They tell me narcissism is something different. It has virtually nothing to do with the other side. Every time I ask about it, they always show me that it's a person born without a soul. So I've been really, if you get that, tell me, because I don't always get that. So eventually these people will come back together. And sometimes, and remember, everybody has education different than everybody else, and everybody else is going to learn. And remember, these soul counterparts come together and they counsel with each other, and they tell each other what they've learned, so that when they are reborn, they can remember that where they're being reborn, so they can learn that there. So it doesn't matter. They're telling me Lyrian star system, so it doesn't matter if you're going to the Lyrian star system, if you're coming to Earth, if you're going to whatever veil it is that you have to be born into to learn the lesson, whatever, to get over to the nethers. I don't know. It is, but there are. All right there. You two will come together, and every once in a while, a divine counterpart will look at someone and go, will look at their divine counterpart and go, listen, I love you and I trust you, but you're a little nutsy. And I think that this soul might be too new. I don't think this is a great idea. And you shouldn't be born with your friend, because this is what and you know, sometimes it's not listened to, and you do that and you get in trouble, and this divine counterpart has to be reborn to, you know, save you. Not save. It's like their soul is born to guide you in your mission on this life plan. And if it should foobar, this soul comes in to help. But that's only in extenuating circumstances, because usually the majority of these, but there are a few people that this did not work out right for. And I honestly think that's what a lot of us are picking up. Of course, I also think that there was a disturbance to that. And then I jumped to the right. Just a step to the left. No, and then whatever that is, dyslexia. So basically what's going on is these divine counterparts are now aligning and coming together, okay? These souls that were here, that have done their growth, they're aligning. And they're either aligning because they're needed, because someone did something stupid and probably shouldn't have done that, or basically what they're saying too is, it's like these divine okay, that makes more sense actually. That makes so much more sense, thank you. I'm getting freezing. Do I have my hoodie? I do. And do I have my socks? I do. There's a set of divine counterparts that were blind, almost, it seems. And were being reborn with the friends they needed to learn with. And it should have gone right, but something jumped. Now, I did do a reading about a jump that happened, so do look at that one if this resonates with you. In these divine counterparts over here, because they had that teeny bit of extra experience, saw something weird was going on, but they didn't understand what it was. So they made the choice of being reborn. And I am telling you now, I have been getting the movie with Timothy Hutton in it, Made in Heaven. And in that movie, spoilers, if you really want to go watch it. It's from the 80s. They basically tell him, if you are reborn now, you're not going to be reborn in the body you're supposed to, like you're not going to be. So there are a lot of people born in bad situations who are very intelligent divine counterparts on the other side who came over here because it didn't matter where they were born or when they were born. They needed to be here for this line of their other divine counterpart because they knew that there was something big that was going on. They knew that there was going to be a jump in the line, a jump in the soul path. What is that? What ones do you want? The Moonology deck? All right, but I'm putting my socks on first. Put your hands on your hips. Bend your knees inside and do the pelvic thrust. It's that. Not the pelvic thrust, but it's keep getting that. And then a step to the right. Put your hands on your hips and bend your knees inside and do the pelvic thrust, which will drive you insane. Let's do the time warp again. Time warp. So was there a time warp, Spirit? There's been a lot of well, what kind of clairvoyant are you? I'm the kind that puts socks on right in the middle of a reading I'm recording because I get too cold and forget to do it myself, because when I start the reading, I'm too warm. Anyway, I'm all right with it. Sometimes I have to complain. Oh yeah, and I can't mask anything, my voice, even when and I am not from the South. Not that there's a problem with that, Mom. But I don't know. Listen to all my mimickers out there, y'all get it. It seems that there've been a lot of time jumps, and by that, there've been a lot of different portals, a lot of different people movers, if that makes sense to anyone. If you felt like sometimes you'll feel like your body is, obviously not for a medical reason, but it's like all of a sudden your energy, your soul, your being on some psychic level will feel like it's on a people mover, or like it's going through a tunnel or a different portal, or sometimes it even feels like you time jump a little bit into and that's what and they show me that's what happens when you're aligning. You shift to the area where you're supposed to be. So you're here on this path looks just like it, but you're learning from this path that you can't keep going that way, so this shifts over here, so these come over here, and then you keep going that way, and then as you learn, it shifts over until you're on the different paths where you feel like things are going like this and you feel like you're driving. Sometimes I also call that the wandering around the city until you get onto the highway in your car again. And of course, sometimes you have sonic booms, and if you have a sonic boom, that means that you're elevating and you're learning something and you're going onto a faster highway that has a faster rate of speed. And remember, you can get on a car accident there too and get pegged back down. You can get off on the wrong off-ramp and have to go back through the same lessons. I'm not throwing any salt anywhere, because I could have to do that too. Excuse me, pardon me. It is freezing. I'm gonna throw my hat on. I'm getting a bit of a wintry thing up here. So I'm sitting here going, okay, so what does this have to do with the song? And okay, like trying to find the arm of your hoodie. Sometimes things are just wrapped up. Sometimes things are wrapped up and you have to stop and unwrap them and have a little patience before you put it back on so that it fits right. It goes on easier. Learning and growing and changing. Watch for signs. We've got our blue butterfly on the bottom. Asking Spirit what this has to do with selfish. Spirit asks me to remind you again, if you are in an abusive relationship or you are stalking someone, or this is not a true divine love connection, this is not for you. And by that, what I mean is, by this point, you guys will have wanted to be in a committed relationship, and both people will have said, I want to be in a committed relationship. And it's not even that both people will have said it, both people feel that way. You will understand that your person feels this way. You will just automatically know this. If you have 2 seconds of doubt in your head, this is not the reading for you, because Spirit says it's very important that you don't see something where you want to see something. Spirit says it's very important in love readings in general, that you don't choose to see stuff where there isn't stuff. Because love can be very hard. And in this world, love can look a little backwards to people. Accept help if you need it. If you are not mentally well, or if you have any doubts, accept help.